Eric here with another Business Freedom Conversation post. So after nearly a 3-year hiatus, the IRS is starting collections again. Letters should be going out now this week. So do you have a letter in your mailbox? Because if you owe money, they're now going to actively come after you. So the IRS audits low-income people the most. I have a video for you from Yahoo Finance. And in the video, it has a chart. So take a look at the chart and see what category you're in and the likelihood of your being examined. It's important to have resources to deal with the IRS, and that's discussed in this video. At the end of the day, the IRS does not like facing top-flight accountants or lawyers. They'd rather go after the people that can't afford representation. It's just the way it's always been. So see where you are in this chart and see what the likelihood of your examination is. As the IRS adds employees in their push to add 87,000 more agents and employees, there'll be a great increase in the other categories, and it's not very likely it's going to be in the high category, like the president says, 400 and above. It's going to be those in the lower categories are going to increase. The lowest category, people making $25,000 or less, are examined at a 54.4% rate. The excuse for this is they like to look at who gets the employee, gets the low income credit. But when you have 87,000 more employees, they're going to need something to do. So I think you're going to see substantial increase in examination rates of starting at the bottom and going up, because they just don't like to challenge those people. And remember, it's all about representation and being able to keep them off your neck. So take a look at the video. If you owe money, look in your mailbox. They're now going to actively come after you and kind of map out your future, because the future is going to be about strict compliance. And it probably is going to be an adversarial relationship like we had in the 90s when the Clinton administration wanted to, clamp down on collections. There's always this holy grail or pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for progressives that if we simply squeeze the American public more, millions and billions will pop out, and none of this has ever worked out. So take a look, see where you fall, and hopefully you're going to be okay. Again, it's Greg Andrick. We'll catch you on the next one.
Studies have shown that many lower-income families are getting more IRS audits than millionaires. And the process to deal with these audits are causing extreme burdens and stress for the taxpayers because they often don't have the resources to deal with the IRS. Here to break it all down for us is Yahoo Finance personal finance reporter Rebecca Chen. Rebecca, nice to see you. So what is going on with these IRS audits and how is it hurting taxpayers?
So in our couple surveys and research that came across in our reporting are showing that majority of IRS audits are going to lower income families. Specifically, data suggests that more than 50% are going to families making less than $25,000. And unfortunately, this is because it's easier for the IRS to audit lower income families. What this means is it is simpler and more cost efficient for them to send out a bulk computer-generated audit letters to lower-income family than go to a high net worth income individual and do their audits by hand. A lot of the tax experts I've talked to say they have noticed that the IRS seems to target earned income credits. It's a tax benefit that primarily goes to help to lower-income families, but the audit potential that comes with it is extremely stressful because audits are so hard to deal with and usually they take super long to resolve.
And Rebecca, how painful is this? Because this is a segment of the population that clearly doesn't have a lot of excess cash on hand.
So one of the most common issue I have seen during my reporting is that the lack of IRS resources itself. So when families get these audit letters in their mailbox, there's no contact person, there's no number they can call to ask what's going on to get an explanation. many times, and even if they call the IRS toll-free hotline, they may or may not get through to a live agent. So what happens is they are often stuck trying to figure out these notices themselves and trying to figure out what to do with them. So my suggestion for any audience member who are dealing with this situation is, first of all, do not ignore these notices because they could snowball into something a lot more serious. And the next is, if you have a notice where you're allowed to upload your documentation on the IRS portal, do that. Because this way, you don't have to print out your supports, put them into an envelope, drop stamps on them, go to the post office, and then wait for the IRS to get them. Just upload them onto the IRS website, and it will cut down on a lot of lead time. And I know the IRS calling center hasn't been very helpful in the past, but we are hearing that the time is getting better. They are working on putting more representative to help the taxpayers. So it might be worth to try calling them. But if you prefer a more in-person approach, try to go to your local volunteer income assistance tax center. They can refer you to tax clinic that will help you with the audits. But if all else fails, if you have a very stubborn audit that just will not go away, try to go to the National Taxpayer Advocate, and they can help you there.
Does the IRS have any explanation as to why, any statement as to why they're auditing lower income Americans more than millionaires?
So we did reach out to IRS for comments, and the comment was, we'll get back to you. So far, we don't really have any explanation, but...
It's odd because they've said they need 87,000 additional employees. It's hard to really justify additional employees if, in fact, you need to audit those who make less than $25,000
Yeah,
a
certainly
year.
lots of questions there. All right, well, Rebecca Chen, great reporting. Thanks.